chapter 19. It's a love affair. So I began this book talking about the nothingness that you feel when you venture. And it's a characterization that when you trade off today, what you know, understand, that you can clearly see that there is some sort of pattern for investing in something, investing your time, energy, money into something that is not clear, ambiguous, that you think potentially matters, but you don't know. And you invest a certain amount of whatever you have into this thing, and you don't know what the outcomes are, but you think that there's something that you feel not necessarily positive, as a sort of popular culture likes to talk about. You don't get feedback in the sense that what everybody mentions, that there is all sorts of conversations and people like to talk about things, and it's easy to understand what to do next because of that feedback. But instead, you get nothingness. You get a void where there's no clear understanding about what you're doing. It's blank. It doesn't seem like what you're doing is correct. It may be correct or might not be correct, but there's nobody there giving you feedback. There is no voices, there's no information, and you have no idea about whether what you're doing is correct or incorrect. You have no idea about any of it. And you're taking this leap of faith into the unknown. And I think the only thing that comes close to this, and we all venture in all aspects of our life, having kids, building entrepreneurial ventures for those who are brave enough to do that. But I think all of us go through this, and we often talk about things such as love and passion and desire. And the reason why we use those terms is because we can't define them. There's no amount. It's not clear. I don't know if there's more love or less love, what that actually means. I don't even know what love looks like. If somebody said, "What is love?" But I think about that. What does it mean to be more passionate or less passionate? Does anybody know what that looks like? Is it just more talking? I don't know. But all of this is to say is that most of our life is venturing off into things that we'll never be able to understand. And most of it deals with a great deal of ambiguity, which is difficult for us to understand. Has very little to do with things like risk, which is easily quantifiable, or even uncertainty, which you know what to do, but you just have no idea what the actual probabilities are of getting something. But in fact, you never know what you're supposed to do. You don't know what the probabilities are of winning or losing. And you don't even know if you're doing it correctly or not. And so the only way that you can deal with this, given of the insanity of it all is to chalk it up to things like love or passion. I have no idea. This is the one thing to think about when you get if and when you get married. I don't know if anybody is listening to this are married or not, but if and when that happens, it seems really peculiar to think about another person in terms of the financial return. Now, I know that sometimes we do that kind of stuff. I understand that. But there's often more to it that's important, at least in modern day culture. Maybe 100 years ago, that was a different story. There was more people that were thinking about the economic benefit of marriage. But a lot of it has to do with not explaining it. And because you will not explain what happens when you're together. You can't even explain what's going to happen in the next year. Never mind what's going to happen in 30 or 40 or 50 years from being together. And I think that's where I want you to think about is that all of this is uncalculable. All of this has to deal with just being faithful when you're dealing with uncertainty and dealing with ambiguity. It's about just taking steps forward, even when you think it's scary and you don't know what the right answers are, or what's actually going to happen. And you continue to step forward, even though that you continuously get nothing, or at best, rejection. And you step forward into it, knowing that you will get increasingly more nothingness. Nothing. No feedback, no clarity, no fanfare, nothing. And I think this is the challenging thing that we all face, and we all have different degrees of it. And how much you can bear of this nothingness, the void, the just not hearing of anything, the ghosting from the environment. The more that you can bear of that, despite the fact that you think you're doing the right thing, but you're hearing nothing back, the better off that you're actually going to be. And this does not feel good. Nothing about it ever makes you feel like you're on the right path. But you deal with it by walking forward, feeling passion or love or desire or any one of these particular terms that have no calculation behind it. And if you put a calculation behind it, you think it would be really strange. But if you do that, and if you're lucky, extraordinarily lucky, things may happen for you that are positive. But equally, if you do that, things might happen to you that are negative. And you never know. I wish I could sit here and tell you that everything will work out, that the information that I provide in this book is going to make you understand things and make you more clear. But it's not going to happen. It's just going to be more nothingness, more voids. And I think it's dealing with that in a healthy manner. And however you might deal with that in a healthy manner, you have to learn that yourself. But however you do that, just know that that is part of the process. Taking steps forward, not knowing what you're supposed to do or what you're about or what everybody else thinks of you, and just takes those steps forward, investing your time, energy, money, resources into increasingly more of the nothingness. And that's what venturing is all about. Take care and have a wonderful day.